Hey everybody, welcome back to Peachy Disc Golf. Today I'm going to be doing a little disc golf bag review. We're going to be comparing my old disc golf bag, the Squatch Legend 2.0, against my new disc golf bag that I have been using for the past couple of months, the Squatch Lore. Let's get right into it. So shortly after getting into disc golf, my disc collection was rapidly increasing and I needed a disc golf bag to store all my discs in. And I started off with this Dynamic Discs Trooper bag, which was pretty nice for a good couple months, I would say. I just kept buying so many discs and I found that I outgrew this bag very quickly. There are a couple of downsides to this bag as well, like for example, this putter pocket up here. You can store like 5 putters up here, but it was always hard to get like these back putters out. And also the capacity is decently limited, so I really wanted to upgrade to like a really big storage bag, and I was debating between the really big Prodigy BP bag and the Squatch Legend bag, and I ended up going with the Squatch Legend here. This is my disc golf bag that I've definitely had the longest. I've used this for about 1.5 years now, and I really liked this bag. It is humongous. You can store so many discs in here. I have 5 discs up in the putter pocket. I have 21 discs in the main pocket here, 2 drivers in this little flap, and then there's also like side pockets where you can store more discs. Even in these other side pockets, they're big enough to store more discs as well. So I had so many discs in this bag, but because of that, my bag was very heavy. Like, it weighs a ton to put this on. And also, I do travel for work a lot and I like to bring my discs with me, and this bag is such a pain to deal with, especially on airplanes. So even like using my overhead compartment in planes, it would be so annoying taking this bag and shoving it up. Oh my God. It was harder to do than even like a carry-on bag was. So I was like, you know what? When I go to a course, I don't use every single disc in this bag. I can downsize. I need to get something smaller, a little lighter, a little easier to travel with. Honestly, that was my first thing, was like just to get a nice travel bag that still has extra features more than my Trooper bag. And I decided to go with this, the Squatch Lore. So in this video, we're gonna do a little comparison between the Lore bag and the Legend bag. I'll sort of give you a quick rundown of the features of the Lore bag. We'll sort of compare, tell you like some pros and cons with switching to the smaller bag, and yeah, sort of do a little comparison, like differences between the Legend bag, the Lore bag. The Legend bag, this is a Legend 2.0, so they actually do have a newer version. So some of the complaints I have with this bag specifically might have been corrected in the newer version. So just definitely check that out if you're interested in looking at the Legend bag, because I do have some complaints about it. I do think a lot of them have been addressed. So let's get into it. First off, let's take a look at the new Lore bag and see what we're looking at. So I went with the all orange colorway here. Pretty cool. The bag is significantly smaller. Let's actually get the Legend bag back up here on the table, front and center. And if we look at the Lore bag, it is so much smaller in profile. That is definitely something I'm really looking forward to. First off, the zippers, very nice quality. They're YKK waterproof zippers, I believe. I'm not gonna go into specs. I'm not gonna tell you like what type of Cordura this bag is using. There are definitely better channels to look at like in-depth bag reviews. This is just gonna be a sort of quick, what are you getting with the bag? So first off, you got your putter pocket. This is a really big putter pocket. This was the first thing I noticed. So here are the 6 discs that I fit in my putter pocket in the Legend bag. Easily fit in here, and to a point where I actually am able to put a 7th disc in comfortably. This top pocket is humongous. Then we have the main pocket here. So the main pocket does have a flap, just like the Legend bag it does, but it is not big enough to fit a disc. You could definitely put a mini in here. That's actually what I use it for. But we have, again, nice, really nice zippers. That's gonna be one of the things I complain about in the Legend, so spoiler alert for that. But we have a nice main pocket here for our discs. We'll fill it up in just a second. And then we have 2 large side pockets here that open up. There's a little elastic pouches to put things. So like I have some Peachy disc golf stickers in here, an EpiPen in here. These little elastic pouches here, both side pockets have that. So if we open up this one as well, same thing. This is actually where I put my phone in my wallet. And then one of the coolest features of this bag are these like convertible outer side pockets. So the bag does come with an insulated cooler here. So this opens up, you can see nice insulation material. You can store some beverages, keep them cold while you're playing. Quick comparison, the Legend bag did also have one of these side coolers, but the Lore bags is significantly smaller. So you're not gonna be able to store quite as many beverages in the Lore bag versus the Legend bag, but as you can tell, I don't know if you can see it, this is covered in cat hair. I don't use the built-in coolers that much, so just get rid of that for now. That was one of the drawing points for me to get this Legend bag when I was first deciding on a big bag. And then I ended up not using it because I just filled those side pockets with discs all the time. So you have these two convertible side pockets here. So you can see you could store stuff externally, and then, or if you want it closed up, there's a little Velcro patch here. You can then use these zippers on the side to close that pocket up. And it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty interesting. That is gonna be a slight complaint that I have, but it's not a big deal. That's just nature of the bag. But here we have the same pocket on this side, so let's open it up, unzip it here, Velcro patch, and then you can slide this flap inside. There's another Velcro thing there, so it holds it open, and that's actually where I'll put my water bottle. This is just a 32-ounce water bottle. You can see I could probably fit a second 32-ounce in there. On the back, these straps, I believe, are actually removable and replaceable, which is kind of cool. One of the straps on my Legend bag actually got like the padding started getting like compacted and like it would not hold its shape flat. So that's actually cool. If that happens with this bag, I could just get a replacement strap. That's pretty cool. And there's also really nice lumbar support padding, which is not present on my Legend bag. I think the newer ones might have that, but I'm not sure. So yeah, that's just a quick little rundown of the bag. Let's fill it up with some discs. So, heavy Legend bag here. So this was my bag as it was right before I switched over to the Lore bag. And so this is where we can sort of see what discs are not fitting. So I already said the top pocket, very easy to fit all of these putters that I had. And I can actually fit another one in here. So I'm gonna take my other most used putter is my Watt here. So put that right on top. Then it's time to go through the mids and the drivers. The biggest thing with this bag is that obviously you're gonna have to choose like what disc you like. With the Legend, I'm able to carry any disc that I want. No big deal at all. But now it's gonna be like, gotta choose which ones we want. So I use these so we got 4 mids here, put them here. Then all of the, sort of like the MVP trilogy, I call it, of 6.5 speed fairways. I used all 3 of those in here. The Vela and the Bear I use. F7, FX4, Undertaker and Zeta's Moon, and then my Wave, which is up here. Got a little bit more room here, so what else do we want to throw in? Maybe this X3. I have the bag loaded out here with the transfers. Now I actually do also use this side pocket for a couple discs. These are more utility discs here, so I'm gonna open this up here. I'm gonna put in my Glitch, FX2, and F9. I don't use any of these very often. They're more for utility, but they can fit in this side pocket here pretty nicely actually. But one downside is that this pocket does expand into this side pocket here. So now there's not very much space in this main pocket. So if I needed to throw like a jacket or something in here, not gonna happen. So let's look. Here we are with the Legend. I'm losing out on 4 discs from the main pocket here, but I do also have 3 discs here in the side pockets that I can no longer fit. Again, a couple of discs in this big pocket here. So I was actually pretty impressed with the storage capacity of the Lore bag because I was able to get a good number of discs here, and I'm really not missing out on too many discs from the Legend. So like I have like a couple of utility mids, some extra distance drivers, which I don't usually use that much anyway. These are mostly just throwing putters that I was experimenting with. That's actually what I mainly used these side pockets for, was if I got like a disc and I was testing it out for a video, I would throw them in here. And if I really liked them, I would keep them in there, sort of giving them a little test run to see if it replaces one of my main discs. But that's sort of the nice thing with the Lore bag here, is that it really lets you sort of focus in on the discs that you really use. Like, you really have to think, like, you have limited storage space now. Which discs am I actually gonna throw on more shots? And yes, like for example, one disc that I liked using, this MX1, super overstable mid-range. Now the Matrix here that I have, not as overstable, but I can still get similar shots, especially if I just add a little more hyzer. Or sometimes if I have a really good throw with like the A5, I can get it similar distances with similar stability. So it just made me think, like, where do I have overlap? What discs can I like use in more situations than I'm currently using them for? That sort of thing. So I've used this bag for a couple months now, and I've really enjoyed it. One thing that I do like about this bag versus the Lore bag that I have is the bag that I have doesn't have D-rings. So I have all my like little accessories dangling off of these little hooks here. So it's a little easier clipping onto these D-rings externally. Much easier to hang on. Like, I have a towel here. I have my little Taro tee here as well. Just put it on a D-ring. And I actually like using this this drive bag that I got from a tournament for keeping my hands dry, and I can keep it clipped on as well. So I used a whale sack before, and I kept dropping it on the course because I just wouldn't remember to put it in my bag or anything. I just keep it resting on top. Now I have it clipped up here. Very easy again to fit a water bottle up here, so that's good. And yeah, so my biggest complaint with the bag is gonna be just these side pockets. Like, they're definitely a little bit too small for me. So like, even on this side too, because I have my water bottle, I can't really put stuff in here. Like, I would put small light jackets. Like this jacket that I'm wearing is not gonna fit in there. Even if I have like a light rain jacket, it would barely fit. So the side pockets are definitely pretty limited. Another complaint that I had between the Legend bag versus the Lore bag is the Legend bag has a nice magnetic external slot for your phone. And this was really handy, especially since you have to keep, if you're keeping score, because I don't like unzipping and zipping my bag to get my phone. This just made it super easy. Now I have to put my phone in one of these elastic side pockets. So I do have to unzip and re-zip if I'm gonna be keeping score, because I don't like keeping my phone in my pocket while I'm playing. Another small complaint, this is more just very personal preference, is on the Legend bag. There's a nice big section of Velcro for you to put Velcro patches on. You don't have that at all on either side with the Lore bag. So if you wanted to sort of customize it a little bit, you're not gonna really be able to. They do have these Velcro straps, which I have seen some people use. So you could take off a little, you could take your little Velcro patches. Like, I have this really cool Luke Humphreys one. And you could put it here if you really wanted to. But then if you needed to close this back up, you're not gonna be able to use that little Velcro patch. So kind of a bummer with that one. And then this is just gonna be a personal one for me. I don't think this is gonna bother a lot of people. I know for a fact Bowie actually got this same bag and he actually loves this. But the fit of the bag for me, as you probably know, I'm a bigger person. It's not the most comfortable. It's not uncomfortable by any means, but like the lumbar support is like just in the middle of my back. It's not like resting on my lower back, which is kind of weird feeling. I don't notice it when I'm playing, but just something to keep in mind. Like, if you're a bigger person like me, this might feel a little weird at first. You do get used to it, and I've walked around a lot with it on courses. I've walked with it through airports and things, and it hasn't been an issue, but that's just something to keep in mind. Another weird thing that's sort of bothered me a little bit is the like straps here. So they have these little Velcro rings that you can open and close to try to contain your loose like straps that are hanging down from your excess. But they kind of, I don't know, when I'm wearing the bag and they're strapped up, it feels weird. A lot of times they sort of bubble out and create like this extra little hook. Not really a big, it's not really a complaint. I do like that they tried to do something to prevent that excess. So a couple other things I've noticed with the bag. I don't know if I'd call this first one a complaint really. The putter pocket doesn't really have like a lot of support in the bottom. So you can, if you actually reach in to here, you can actually, you know, get to the discs, it might be nice to put like a little padding. I know my friend Tin, who has this bag also, he says he actually might put a piece of cardboard in here just to have some separation. It doesn't really bother me, but it's just something you might notice, like if you're grabbing a disc, you might notice your putters getting popped up a bit. And another thing that I've noticed with this main pocket, this one is a little bit more of a complaint, is that it's kind of sized awkwardly to the point where these discs on the extreme ends are kind of difficult to get out. It's not like the easiest thing to put away or to put back in. It's not impossible, obviously, but like if you have this bag stuck, like right now, you can see like I had a little struggle there. It gets caught on this like top corner with the zipper, but it's kind of difficult, especially if you have the bag like super stuffed. Like right now I actually have a good little gap in here between my discs, so it's a little bit looser. Just something to keep in mind, don't overstuff the bag, because then it is very difficult to get those discs in and out of those corners. So something to be aware of. For the most part, everything else about the bag is a huge improvement. So for example, with the Legend bag that I have, these zippers are much harder to zip. There's so much more resistance, whereas these ones are nice and smooth. So easy to open up and close back up. I really like that. Also, it seems like the end ties here for the zippers are a little bit better quality. I've had a few, like this one here, came untied and it just I had to sort of piece back together. I've noticed for some reason, so the bag doesn't have any rails or anything on the bottom, but I find that this bag is very sturdy and it stays upright. It stays upright even more than this Legend bag does, which also doesn't have rails, but that is something I noticed. It's pretty funny. I was like, this bag seems very sturdy. Like I'll put it on a slope and it will still stay upright, more so than I expect. Obviously, eventually there's gonna be too much slope and it will topple over. But yeah, so far, like I said, it seems like it's holding up pretty well. I've had it for a month and I am very rough with my bags. I do not like set them down gently. Like I will slap this on my back, slap it off, slam it on the ground. Pretty happy with the quality of the bag, pretty happy with the layout. The biggest thing I have to do is just figure out what discs I want to keep in the bag. So I'm actually going to do a separate video of showing you what has been in my bag for the past couple months. I'll sort of give you a rundown of what I've had in the bag lately, and then I'm actually planning on changing my bag up a little bit before the next season starts. So that'll just sort of be a baseline, and then a couple months from now, I'll do another in the bag video showing you what I've sort of changed to. Definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see what discs I end up taking out of the bag and replacing with different discs. So should be a lot of fun. That's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to know any more information or have any other questions about my experience with the Squatch Lore bag, definitely leave me a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed watching this little bag review style video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and ring that notification bell so you can be notified when our next episode comes out. Until next time, guys, cheers.